Man, I really wanted a boy. I was so excited to have someone to listen to my music with, someone to play my video games with, someone to exercise with. I mean, I knew it wasn't for sure, but I had my hopes up.
Daddy, 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 Dad!
Hello and welcome to The Sad Life. My name is Evan, and on this channel, I share all the good and all the bad of being a sad. Today, I want to share what it was like for me to receive the news of having a daughter, eventually two, of course, and how it felt. As you can imagine, it changed the trajectory of my whole life. I fully expected to have a boy. My brother has two boys, all my cousins on the one side of my family have two boys. So not only that, and I don't know if this is just part of macho-ness or what, but like I imagine most guys, I desperately wanted to have a boy. Through history and watching television, you often see people trying so hard to have a boy, to pass down the family name. I know in some cultures, the little boy can really save a family and potentially make more money, and well, we have heard some sad tales of what happens to families that have little girls. I don't know, that stuff is in the back of your mind as a guy. Okay, so after my wife and I were fortunate enough to get pregnant, after thinking and talking about it a lot, we decided we wanted to find out what we were having. So we did the ultrasound, and the technicians aren't really supposed to tell you what you are having. Sadly, perhaps for some of the reasons I mentioned earlier. She could see the desperation and curiosity in us. And I remember she left a little clue on the screen when she left. There on the screen, beside a picture of a little alien growing inside my wife, were the letters XX. Pow! Tunnel vision. Boof! Ugh! A punch to the stomach. Holy crap! Oh no! I wanted to cry. As a teenager, I joked I would probably be one of those dads with 3 daughters, those poor suckers. All of a sudden I'm like, is this my karmic reality for my choices in life? I did my best to hide those emotions, but part of me thought that I had failed. That's hard for me to admit, but I just want to be real. So time passed and my imagination went more and more bananas. We were getting closer to the big day, and I was developing some severe anxiety. I'm not the kind of person who accepts reality until it happens to me, and I couldn't even fathom what was going on. So the due date comes, nothing happens. The next day, nothing. Ugh, 5 days later, in the middle of the night, my wife goes into labor. She let me sleep as her contractions were mild at this point, and we had a midwife guiding us along the way about what we needed to do and when we needed to go to the hospital. So I was rested as I could have been. All right, I won't go into the full details of this day at this point, but I have to share a little more because it's important to the story. The labor in total lasted about 28 hours, and it resulted in a last-minute emergency C-section, which we didn't plan, but at this point, with the exhaustion, you're like, yeah, we'll do whatever to get that baby out. Let me tell you, about halfway in through the labor, I was exhausted. It's funny, in my mind, I didn't want anyone else to be a part of our labor. I wanted it to be something special that my wife and I shared as a bonding experience. I wanted it to just be the two of us. But halfway through the labor, I realized that was a huge mistake. But luckily, we had my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law on hand, and they were in the room taking shifts, supporting my wife. Because I needed to rest, and it was exhausting for me. Gosh, men are pathetic. It was about 20 hours into the labor, and I was watching all of the women work together in the room, helping a fellow woman birth a child. The light is shining on them from the ceiling, like heaven is illuminating them. I'm in a dark corner observing this ritual, and at that very moment, the way I looked at women changed forever. Unbelievable! My mind was blown. They were doing something I could not do, and not just physically either. It was right then I realized how strong women can be, both physically and mentally. And I felt like if the planet had more women on it, it would be a better place. The sudden feelings that grew inside of pride and excitement, of having a little girl started to grow. At this point, my wife is doing Romanian lunges for hours trying to get that baby out. Who has energy like that? Who can do that after 28 hours of labor? Not a man, I'll tell you that. So the C-section happens. We hear the cry, but we are behind the curtain, so we don't see anything. At this point, we are emotionally just obliterated. We are exhausted, we're shivering, we're curious. They invite me back to meet the baby, and when I went around that corner and saw Allie lying on the scale, just wow. Fireworks! You hear stories about how the baby needs to look like the father, so maybe, I don't know, he doesn't eat the baby. Maybe that story's not quite right, but let me say, I would not have eaten that baby. I knew she was mine. You could have all the imagination in the world, but you have no idea what your child is going to look like. It was, in fact, a human with a heartbeat. I was thrilled. Love at first sight for sure. Ever since that moment, I have not once ever thought twice about how I wished I had a little boy. I mean, the reality is, you just have to deal with whatever situation you are put into. I'm sure I would have been elated to have a boy too, but that just wasn't in the cards for me. And the thing is, all of those things I had hoped to do with a little boy, I can do with a little girl. I no longer have worries that my little girl won't be tough enough or that she can't handle it. I have seen what women are capable of. They can handle it. Fast forward a couple years and we get pregnant again. Having a girl, having a girl, having a girl. X. Yeah! Woo! So pumped, so thrilled. I guess I just wanted to share this for a number of reasons. Maybe it might help a fellow guy out there shape or reshape his perspective on what having a daughter is like. If we were younger and had more energy, I would say, let's have more kids. I would be so lucky to be that dad with the 3 daughters I had jokingly laughed about who was unlucky. It's funny how things work out. I mean, whatever the situation is, we have to accept and make the best out of it. It almost makes me sad that it took that experience in my life to realize how crazy strong women are. So to all the guys out there, maybe who haven't really considered how much effort it took to bring you into this world, if your mom is still around, give her a squeeze a little tighter than usual the next time you see her, because it was frickin' hard work and you couldn't have done it. And if she isn't around, give her a warm thought and a big smile. Whew! That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.
One, two.
Oh, she's going for it. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna kick your butt.
I'm gonna kick your butt.
I'm gonna kick your butt.
Oh, yeah? You're going down, sweetie.
I'm gonna put my special button.